Castlevania Harmony of Despair is unlike any other Castlevania game we have seen. Instead of being solely made for a single player story, it branches out into a multiplayer experience for up to 6 players. There are 5 characters from the previous games to choose from, each with their own unique weapons and powers, but when it comes to figuring out which character does what, you'll have to figure out that on your own. There is a guide in the help menu, but it doesn't exactly explain in enough detail how to fight, use upgrades or equip your character, so a proper tutorial at the start of the game would have kept me from running around for an hour trying to figure out what to do. The way the stages are set up is kind of like a maze. In the previous games you would only really go left and right, but in this game you can go up, down, left and right, and you will need to backtrack a lot in order to find your way. There is also a pretty decent range of different monsters, all of them unique in their own way. Although there is a single player campaign, the game mainly focuses on co-op. Trying to tackle this game by yourself is extremely hard, so the 6 levels sounds easy, but you will have to replay them many times to try and figure out the best route possible to beat the boss. Also, the more times you play through a level, the more items and gold you get, meaning you can buy better weapons, armor and magical items. If you do decide to play co-op, all of your items and gold are transferred from your single player and vice versa, which means you don't have to keep rebuilding your characters. Co-op is quite easy. I managed to beat the game with only 1 out of a max of 5 other players in about 2 to 3 hours or so on normal mode, so there is quite a bit of unbalanced gameplay, single player being too hard and co-op being too easy. Co-op is an enjoyable way to play this game. There is a good amount of teamwork, but it isn't essential provided you all live. When a player dies, they can be resurrected a certain amount of times, but it's not a big deal if you don't res your teammates, mainly because they can still run around as a skeleton and do damage to the monsters. This sounds like a good idea, but being a skeleton means you can die as many times as you want and reform as another skeleton. This is so the players wouldn't leave mid-game, which I guess works, but it does make it easy to defeat bosses if you can just resurrect over and over. This game really has its ups and downs. Learning how to play is quite frustrating, and it isn't helped by the lack of a tutorial to explain what to do. Although the campaign only has 6 levels, it is very hard and will take a while to beat. The co-op mode is lots of fun, especially if you have a full team who knows what they are doing, but it is far too easy. Looting items and upgrading your character is a smart feature. With lots of weapons, lots of varieties of strategies, there will always be a new way for you to use a character. It is a unique game but doesn't have enough to do in it. I think this game deserves a solid 7 out of 10.